It's time to go live-ish. The podcast that makes the offseason suck a hell of a lot less. From the creators of Dynasty Depot, the internet's only live auction site for Dynasty Fantasy Football. Here are your hosts, Nelson Verbit, Rick Taylor, and Fantasy Heather.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a very special episode of Live-ish. We are doing a members only, which obviously isn't only for members, but it's directed toward members to give you guys a little inside information as to how the season's been going. I am going to bring in co-founder Rick Taylor. Boom. Hi,
Hey,
Rick.
Heather.
How are you?
How you doing? I'm
Good.
fine.
Doing things a little different today. We had made a bet before that I had a parlay for the games last weekend.
You did. That's right.
And if I won, I was to write the show. I did not win. I did not write the show, but I am taking it. I'm taking the reins to start us off here. So
Well, that's good because it's just you and I right now. I hope Borgata Brett joins us because I have a problem with one of the selections from last week.
oh yeah, he'll be here. He'll be here, and we're going to talk all about his picks if we remember.
Good.
All right, I'm going to bring in the other co-founder, Mr. Nelsby himself. Nelson, hi.
Am I late?
A little bit.
Little bit.
We had to hold up the show for you, man.
You know what? I'm glad you didn't hold up the show. I was kind of hoping that I'd show back up and Heather was giving social calls with a wrap and we're out of here.
Oh my God, a 2-minute
We're going
show.
to that next.
I like it. Well, thanks for letting me on, guys. Did you tell everybody what we're doing tonight?
So we did. So we're doing a members only show.
We are.
So first I'm going to give you my number one graphic of the evening.
Like it. Look at the mat. I had the light blue one. Okay, I had the light blue members only jacket.
I made this before you said that. So I had to go. It's so funny.
Sombrero Rick is the only member in Mexico.
I mean, he always has a sombrero now. I mean, look at Nelson. It looks like that's really you.
It kind of does.
I've
Oh
had
my
that.
God.
I think you do have that jacket.
I've had the exact outfit. I don't even know what to say. Yes, that was me. Yes.
Oh my God. All right. Anyway, I thought that would be a good laugh.
Let's get on with this shindig, right? So,
Okay.
as you know, it's the members only show. We're just going to talk a little bit about what's going on at Dynasty Depot, some things that we want to get out to our customers, some things that we want to talk about for our potential new customers of what's happening at Dynasty Depot right now. We have Borgata Brett coming on a little later, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about what's going on in his mind as he comes on Monday night to make his big selections and give out his props. And I think we should get going right now. Heather, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, so first we're just going to talk a little bit about how you can, for the members, can upgrade, because
Yes,
I would say 90% are coming in at a rookie, which is a great, it's a great membership to have. You know, gives you the unlimited buy, bid, sell, all that good stuff. But if you upgrade, you're going to get free 5 hot boxes and a Nerd Herd membership, which is a $50 value in itself. So
Right.
The Hall of Fame is the best value. And the hot boxes, I don't know if you guys want to chime in again quick about what a hot box is.
Well, let me just add something that you just triggered something, because Rick and I had talked about
Okay.
this. So we do have probably 50% of our members are monthly members. The problem is, here's the problem, that as we all know, every team you buy on Dynasty Depot hits our leaderboard, where we add up the points when the regular season starts, give away grand prizes, and Rick and Way are going to talk a little bit about it. We gave away 4 FFPC main event seats, priced at $1,900 a piece, could win $500,000. Oh, no, excuse me. FFPC is $1 million this year for their main event. We gave away $1 million We gave away 4 of them. We gave away 4 $500 Dynasty teams, loads of other prizes. If you are an $8.99 a month member, Heather, and you decide, all right, I'm done buying and selling teams this year. I bought 5 teams. Rick, will your teams be included in the leaderboard?
Not if you do not continue that monthly.
Correct. You need to have a membership. So let's do a little math here. $8.99 times 12 is anybody?
About 108.
Something like Heather. You got a little math for us? 9 times 12. We're going to pass on that. Okay, we're going to go about $108. Okay, this is $129. You're getting a $50 Nerd Herd membership, and I'm happy to give you that. Trust me. Excited about giving those away. And 5 free hot boxes. Rick, tell them what the hot boxes do for you.
The hot boxes we have, if you go to our webpage, there's right at the beginning, there's a scrolling place. It's called Hot Box, and it's where the hottest teams are listed. So you can get, when everyone goes to the site, the first thing they'll see in bright red are the list of teams that you're promoting. So it's like a promotion for your team to get front and center of everybody when they first log on to Dynasty Depot.
It is. So grab yourself a Hall of Fame membership is what Heather's saying. Protect yourself from not paying or missing a payment or whatever. All those teams you've bought on Dynasty Depot, they are not eligible for leaderboard. Don't call us and say, oh, I was gone for 2 months. If you're not a member, your teams are disqualified from the leaderboard. That's a rule. Right. Moving on, Heather.
Moving on. So what do you guys think? So 3 weeks in, how do you think it's going? What is our takeaway at 3 weeks in season 2?
Go ahead, Rick.
I think it's strong. Last year we talked about this. We weren't sure if it was kind of the new thing people jump on, but it has been, instead of that initial couple days of, people jumping on buying and selling, it's been more consistent, but it's been busy. A lot of teams. We have some new features with the buy and sell, which Nelson explained, accepting the high bid, but that's helped move a lot of teams. And I think it's easier to move your teams, and you get some better deals this year by, having some lower bids. So it's been great, Heather.
It's cool. Awesome. It's cool. Now I'm going to guesstimate. Rick's the numbers guy. Somewhere between 300 and 400 teams must have been sold in the last 20 days. Somewhere in there. 310. Okay, that's between 300 and 400, Rick.
Yep.
310. Sure that was a guess. We didn't talk. So 300 teams have already changed hands in the first 3 weeks. The market's open until the week before the NFL season starts. We got rookie drafts coming where people are drafting maiden teams. Those teams will start showing up end of March. It's an exciting time. Now, the market has changed this year. Heather, I think the next question, go ahead, ask me this.
Right. So we want to know, as far as buying and selling, what advice do you have for a buyer, a seller? People ask, how do I sell my team? How do I price my team?
So I feel like there's been surprises. As in any market, right, there's adjustments. And I feel like there's been a big adjustment from last year to this year. I don't think people are paying. Last year we saw 1250s because it was the new thing and nobody knew what they were doing. They were buying 250 teams for $1,500, even though you could only win 11. The multiple has gone down, in my opinion, but the fair and right price is way more accurate. What do you think about that, Rick?
Yeah, I think the first week there was a little overpricing going on, and it's fine. It takes a little bit to settle in, but I see a pretty good adjustment right now, and things are a price point where you feel they're within reach. You see a good team, and most of them aren't unreasonable right now.
Right, and one of the things
I bet there's a lot.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I bet there's a lot now that people can accept this highest bid, because now, before, you almost couldn't see what people didn't know what the reserve was. They don't know what now it's it's easier to decide what you want to sell for a team when you're seeing what people are willing to pay.
You're bringing up the highest bidder. So let's discuss that for a minute. And then there was another point, which I've already forgot because I was going to say it, but Heather popped in. So that's not – oh, yeah. Hold on to the highest bidder. The two things that we've done to increase market, increase freshness of teams is one is, Rick, we've gone to just 3-day auctions. Okay. So no longer – there's plus and minuses. We had the 7-day auction, 14-day auction. The problem with that is with 300-400 teams that are on the site right now, your team was ending up at the bottom. Okay, so you were getting bids initially, and your team was kind of forgotten. And let's face it, at one time we had 700 teams on the initial week. That was chaotic. Now we're in the 350 range. You could filter out as we added the multiple number one filter this year, which has also helped. But we've added the highest bidder. Okay, now there's a problem. We have a problem. We've talked about it. I'm the one that found it because I have a problem because I bid probably on more teams than anybody else because that's what I do. So, Rick, explain the highest bidder, and then I'll explain where the fault was. Not many people come on their own show and say, you're not perfect, but we listen to the public and we understand and we made an adjustment. Explain everybody how the highest bidder works.
All right. So to start, a little background on it is it's hard to pick the right price for a team, right? What's the market going to pay? And there were a lot of times last year where people would set a price and they would maybe miss it by $50. The bid would work up to the reserve, but it wouldn't quite get there. So this year we implemented the highest bidder, which, you put a team, say it's a 250, put it for 500. And people like it, but maybe 350 was the right price. And you realize that after you see the bidding. Well, now it gives you the chance after the auction expires, you as the seller get an email that says, hey, your team didn't reach reserve, it didn't buy it now, but you have an offer for 350. Do you want to take it? And we're seeing a lot of times people take that because you're selling teams to turn over your inventory and make some money too. So it puts less pressure on the right price and it lets the market kind of dictate what the team should go for.
Right. And so what's happened is maybe we outthought ourselves in doing this. Maybe we didn't. I think the customers are happy. We're not as happy because there's not as many buy it nows as there was last year, but there's more inventory flying out because say the guy wants $4.99, buy it now. So you got to figure that guy's reserve somewhere over the 250 team that he has put up there. Say maybe he's got 350 as the reserve. People aren't getting it near the buy it now prices and hitting reserve because they're smart because they want to see if that owner's going to take that. He has a 350 reserve. Is he's going to take 310 for it. And it's better for our customers. They're getting better values. And our people selling them are moving more teams because let's face it, what's a team worth? What somebody's going to pay for it, right? That's what the team's worth. So it's been pretty cool. But we at Dynasty Depot butchered this a little bit. So for an example, if I bid on 20 teams and I wake up in the morning and I have 7 claim your team right now, I have no way to look at that roster and remember what team it was. And that's a mistake we made. Of course, our developer didn't think of that because they don't do that. That's our problem. So that was a shot. So what we've done is we will have out within 2 weeks, I'm guessing. There'll be a way to click on that before you click on claim your team to see that roster. Is that right, Rick?
Yep.
Do we know how that's going to be formatted yet, or we're waiting to see that?
So it's going to be, yes, when you go to the claim your team, it will be, the roster will be there. Instead of having like the bid or the buy it now thing on top of it, it'll be claim your team, but the roster will be in the same exact format that it is on a team that you're bidding on today.
Okay. So you'll be able to see. So, and that will help, because there's been a couple teams, and I had one today that was not claimed. Okay. I was a little aggravated with it, but I also know that guy probably was a big customer and has a lot of bids out there, and he wasn't sure what team it was that was there to claim. And I get it. So I think that we have a solution for that. Actually, I know we do, and that's being developed right now, and that'll be fixed, and that'll be helpful to everybody.
Yep, I think end of this month it'll roll out.
Go ahead, Heather.
No, I was just going to say, so in the meantime, we kind of would maybe recommend, if you do put in a bid, take a screenshot of it, keep it in, somewhere on your phone that you can easily reference what that roster looked like.
Right. So the Dynasty Depot diehards, and there's plenty of them out there that are buying and selling every day. What I do is before I go to sleep at night, I screenshot tomorrow's teams. If I win the bid, I make sure those rosters are on my phone so I can match the team numbers in case I get a claim, because that one day I claimed 7 teams and I wish I didn't claim 3 of them, but it's fine. But right now you better, I'm sure the sharps out there are keeping track of what they're supposed to claim and what they're not, but we do have an answer coming for you.
I would say don't bid on a team if you don't want it.
That's true. But people are always trying to lowball and get stuff that who knows if it's going to be accepted or not, right?
Right.
You don't know. I got a $250 team the other day that was a really good team, and I think it was just lost on the site, and I had a $60 bid out there, and I kind of forgot about it, but I did have a picture of it in case, and I went back in my phone, and the guy offered it to me for $60, and I was pretty happy about it.
Wow.
That's the kind of stuff that happens at Dynasty Depot. Go ahead, Heather.
The other kind of stuff that sorry, Heather, we have a little bit of a time lag here, so we're talking over each other a bit. But Nels, we posted a team, sold a team. I don't know if you saw that it just resold for about $250 more than we sold it for. Painful.
Yeah, that would be us underpricing our team.
Right.
So let's talk about pricing for a minute, okay? One of the last, unless you guys got something else, I wanted to talk about pricing, because that seems to be the thing, right? Because if your team is priced right on our site, it is sold. There is no doubt. But I still, I'll sift through. Pull up the 2 teams I have you pull up here, Heather.
Mm-hmm.
So these are 2 teams, and they're pretty close, okay? Take the quarterbacks out. Okay, so the 77-3-10 team, you got Montgomery, J-Rob, Ronald Jones, not great. On the team on the right, you got Mixon, Harris, J-Rob, not great. Wide receivers are kind of similar here. Hunter Renfrow, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Higgins, OBJ, Ayuk, great receivers. On the 279 team, you got Godwin, Cooper, Hill, J. Jeff, great. Both teams have good tight ends. Goddard on one, Andrews on the other. Then you get to the draft picks. Okay, so Rick, without looking at the draft picks, you would probably lean toward the team on the right, 279, right?
It's close, buddy. But
it's close. But I would lean there. Josh Allen would put it ahead for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, now you take the teams and take the picks. Now the team on the left's got 101, 108, 201. Team on the right's got nothing. Okay?
Right.
So now you're definitely going to buy Team 11. I'm definitely going to buy Team 11 here. It's got a nice team and it's got nice picks. That's a buy. Okay? Guy on the right with no picks prices it at $450. The guy on the right, on the left, puts it dead on the money at $100. Dead on the money price. That's probably sold. I did it this afternoon. That's perfectly priced. Maybe. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it's a little low.
It could be a little low.
1-1.
It could be a little low. But the point of this exercise, Rick, is the team on the right is priced too high. If you're sifting through $77 teams, you're not even bidding on the one on the right.
Right.
You're thinking the owner and whoever it is, I love you out there and no disrespect, but you're thinking he's out of his mind when I can buy this other team here, for half of that, say. Right? So listen, come on, man. You go into the supermarket and you're buying lettuce, right? And all the packages look the same. Okay. You're not buying the highest bag of lettuce. Okay. You're just not. So you have the opportunity to go on Dynasty Depot, look at the teams. You go on StubHub. They have that little thing where they tell you recommended price, which is a median price, obviously, for what's going on. You can't do that here because there's too many different components. But you got to look through the 77s, and when you're going to slap 450 on that team, you got to know that's not selling already.
So, great points. I would say, in defense of the guy on the right, in his mind, he just came off of a win. It looks like he won the league.
He did win the league.
So, he's thinking, I can win again. So if he could get, I don't know what the reserve is, but if it's 300 and he's thinking it's a win again, 400 might be the logic. But I agree with you. If you're looking to move your teams and sell, a lot of people are scrolling past that because of the
right. And these teams were within 3 of each other on the site. They immediately caught my eye. I'm like, I thought it was the same team because I saw Tyreek Hill. I'm like, did I go over twice? And I'm looking at it. The guy on the left might be a little low. Maybe he just wants to sell it and move it, and that's going to sell. I'm sure it's gone already. This was done this afternoon. But try to look through the market and establish your price if you want your team sold. Okay? There's too many teams on this site asking for this kind of money with no draft picks. We're coming up on our big show Monday, going to be breaking down the rookies, and we'll get into that. But, do a little bit of homework if you want to sell your team is what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah. And a lot of times people are buying teams because they want to participate in that rookie draft. There's not as much excitement when you're going in with your first picks at 211.
Right. Now, the guy's got a good team, but if these two teams were priced even at $199, people are going to buy the team on the left with the draft picks right now. Let's face it. Whether we like it or not, that's what people are on the site. They're accumulating draft pick teams right now. So the guy's got to see if he sees $199 on the left. The guy on the right's got to price that at $159, and he'll probably sell it. So try to listen. If you want to sell it, try to do a little bit of homework there. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, everyone's free to price as they want. We're just looking to give some advice on what we've been seeing for teams that are moving and helping out the people.
This is just professional advice. Don't do what we do. Do what you want to do. Thank you for your business, okay, and the opportunity. So, Heather, we got a question from somebody.
Yes, I was just going to say before we bring in world famous Borgata Brett, I will read the Twitter question. In FFPC, I typically never cut down to 16 until close to the last minute. Not because I don't know who I am cutting, but because I just do it that way. But do you think there is an advantage to trimming the fat sooner if we are listing the team on Dynasty Depot? In other words, does it look better that way?
I'm going to just chime in here. I'm going to chime in here because, and I wanted you to read this question because I have recently done an experiment with this, believe it or not. I have trimmed a couple teams down. So the good players are sticking out. Okay. And I got to be honest, the 2 of them sold really fast. I think I would like it if these teams were trimmed down a little bit as I'm scrolling through teams, because FFPC doesn't just list the best players in the front. You'll see. Go put those teams up again. Put those teams up, Heather. Okay, so you got here Brandon Ayuk buried behind other players he shouldn't be, right? But yeah, right. Don't bring up Rager. I'm not in a good mood right now. Don't bring him up. Okay, but you know what I'm saying though? Like this guy that there's not a ton of cuts on that team. The team on the right, there's some cuts with Lazard and Alberto and Njoku, but it just makes Andrews pop more and definitely and how about this? I didn't even see Knox's name on there just now. I didn't even notice he had Knox on the right. So I think cutting it down a little bit, you don't need to cut it to 16 or 18, Jared, but I around 20, I think it helps. What do you think, Rick?
Yeah, especially some of the players, like if somebody's still carrying Adrian Peterson and Henry Ruggs or Brady and Roethlisberger, and they're just
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
Well,
so I think
here's what that tells me. When I see Le'Veon Bell on a team or Adrian Peterson, it tells me the owner did not take care of this team, did not really think this thing through, and is just looking to dump the team. When I see those names, I usually bid low on those teams, knowing he wants to get out of those teams.
Right.
But I do. But I think it's a fresher presentation getting rid of some of the riffraff, personally.
Quality versus quantity.
It is. You got to be careful because, like, the guy on the right's got Taysom Hill. Now, he'll probably end up cutting him, okay? But, with the new coach there, could walk in there and say Taysom Hill's my guy. So you got to be a little careful in what you're doing there. But you can definitely trim the fat off some of these teams. We all know you're definitely cutting. And, of course, you're trying to trade, get 6th-round picks for Jalen Reagor and stuff like that right now. And that's all good, but they could be cut down a little bit. That's my opinion, Jared. And thanks for the question. So, moving on.
Okay, so we do have Rick, what do you want to talk about?
We had just mentioned before the leaderboard and the pricing and people buying. We gave out the leaderboard prizes for last year. Some great stuff, and it was a guy we were looking at, and the name popped up because last year Nelson and I, when we saw a team selling, there were some 77s going off for pretty high prices, $300-400, and I remember thinking, wow, this guy is buying some big teams, maybe even overpaying. But then at the end here, the leaderboard, I just did the math today. The guy won about $2,400 in leaderboard or in FFPC entries. So a main event, 3 or 4 77s, a 250, and then he won those leagues too. So of all the money that he spent, which looked unreasonable, now it's turned into, he's made a lot more than he spent. So again, buying the teams, good teams, keeping your membership up to date can really bring some benefits to you.
I agree.
No doubt.
I agree.
We got to get him on.
Yeah, we're going to. I'm going to get him on because it's a pretty interesting story what he did. So next week is Super Bowl, right? So we'll be on Monday. And, of course, we have the great Borgata Brett. Last time he was on, I think he gave 5 out of 6 winners out. Guy does his homework. Brett, where are you?
Oh,
there he is.
I was in the hot box and I fell asleep.
I like it. So,
all the talk about trimming down the roster got me excited, and I had to take a nap.
Right, we don't want to get you excited past your bedtime. So, big game coming up next week. I know Monday night you're going to be on. I know you put 12 to 14 hours a day into these selections to try to get these right, and you're pretty good at what you do. We all know that. So, what are you doing now to prepare? Anything popping out at you? Talk to me about line movements. What's going on before you walk your ass on here on Monday and put it on the line again.
Well, we've been down in my basement. I got a couple guys in the back room. They don't even speak English, but they're working on the numbers.
I like that.
So look, here's the thing you got to know about the Super Bowl. I mean, when the line came out Sunday night after the games were over, there was a little movement in the total. Total opened at 49.5 or 50. By Tuesday morning, it was at 48.5. And the Rams opened up like 3.5, 4. They're now 4 or 4.5. And with all the money that's going to be bet on this game, these numbers aren't going to move much at all. Like they're just not. So they're kind of locked in. And what we know about the Super Bowl is, and I'll have the exact numbers next week, but you really just have to pick the winner. If you can pick the winner, you're going to win. You're going to win the bet because either the underdog wins or the favorite covers almost all the time. So it's don't get hung up on where the number is or where you think it's going to go because it's really not going to move all that much. A couple things, the Super Bowl has become more and more about betting props rather than betting the side and the total. I mean, there's more money bet on all the props than there is on anything else. And you have two kinds of props. You have game props, and then you have player props, right? So game prop would be the total number of field goals over and under 3.5, right? And then, what the player props are, rushing yards, receiving yards, pass completions, on and on and on. There's sheets. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of player props.
Hey, hold on. Do you know how these props, where this all began?
I don't think so.
So
I know somebody walked into one of the sports books and asked for a line on a player and they gave it to him and that's how it started. But I don't know the details.
No, there was a guy that walked into a sports book and I don't remember what it was, maybe 10 years ago, and asked for a line on a safety in the game. Mm-hmm. The safety is the prop. It's one of the biggest bet props on the Super Bowl because the odds were so big. And then we had those 3 years in a row. And when Manning first played the game, you remember the Manning play, they snapped a bad snap and there was a safety. The sports books got annihilated. That's why the line, if you look, I don't even know what it is. I'm guessing -4 or 500 on a safety. That's one of that was how the props all started years ago.
Didn't know that.
It is.
All right. Well, thanks for slowing me down.
Go ahead.
All right. So just a couple things I wanted to mention because I'm not going to drag this out more than the 33 minutes it's already gone. So you have to just be careful because the tendency is to just keep betting all these props, right? And the juice in the middle of these props, this is the most profitable thing for the sports book. So you're inevitably paying a lot to play these props. And a lot of people end up with a whole bunch of props that are all correlated together, right? So if you think the game's going over, so you're betting over on the passing yards, over on the receiving yards, over on the rushing yards, you're all over. And if you're wrong, you're going to lose everything, right? I mean, if you're right, you're going to win it all. But, so watch your prop bets that you don't make too many and that they're not all correlated together, I think is a suggestion. And the other thing I would tell you is there's a lot of like what I would call fan favorites, right? So everybody's looking to bet Cooper Kupp receiving yards over, right? Because, he's the premier receiver for the Rams. So, you watch that number, it's going to creep up. These numbers are going to move because the prop numbers are not, especially the rushing, receiving, passing, they're thinner markets than the side and the total.
Correct.
So you're going to see that move up. If that gets too high, you want to bet under. If you want to bet under on any of these player props
that are big movers,
wait till the end because they're just going to keep moving up. So Cooper Kupp is like 102.5 yards right now receiving. So you watch that by Saturday or Sunday next weekend. It could be 105. It could be 108. It could be 110. So there's going to be value in betting that under because he doesn't get 110 yards in most games.
One of the things that is really interesting one of the hard things to look at here is you don't, unless you log on, and they sporadically put these props out, right? They don't just dump it like the game line, which is posted 5 minutes after the championship game line's out, opening line. There's no real opening line. If you're logging on today, you have no idea where that prop started at. There could be people that have that at 97 yards right now, right?
Right. Possibly. Most of the player props, all the props came out sort of on Tuesday. From what I've been told, they used to not come out until like today, but now they moved it up, and then they keep adding more and more. So there's a lot of them out there. Mixon's rushing yards is 63.5. Okay, that's going to be a real popular bet. And then the quarterbacks rushing yardage. Burrow is at 11.5, and Stafford is at 5.5. Stafford averages about a yard a game rushing. Okay, just so you know. And Burrow is like 5 or 6. They don't. These guys don't run the ball. These two quarterbacks.
No, they're not running.
Unless they get forced out of the pocket, they're not running. So and then there may be a design play that they don't usually run for these guys, but they're not big numbers. So so that's just a couple things to think about as you go about trying to formulate what bets you're going to put in. And I'll have some picks for you on Monday. I'll give you one stat today. And this was a winner last year. The team that wears the white jersey up top, not the pants, the white jersey, is 14-3 now, straight up in the last 17 Super Bowls. And the Rams are wearing the white jersey, just so you know.
Pretty sure our Philadelphia Eagles were in green jerseys that very special day.
They were. And the Chiefs wore the red jersey 2 years ago when they won, but it's usually the white jersey. So anyway, I'll give you that to think about. I like the first quarter number. I like the field goal number. I'll give you some information on that on Monday. I'm researching the head referee. There's maybe some information there. And if your listeners are interested, 2 places to go to get really good information. We got covers.com and vsin.com. Both have a lot of really good information that they've written and they'll publish all week on the Super Bowl. There's good places to go.
Awesome. Thanks, buddy. We look forward to hearing you on Monday and with those picks. And it's big betting day. We know Heather, she bets the house. I'm sure we'll be up there again. Heather, we're gonna get you're gonna be in action on Sunday, Heather. Somehow I'm gonna put you in action on Sunday, so you got something because the Heather parlay.
Who's that?
What the hell was that?
My son.
Dude, you may as well come in and say hello. Man. You came this far.
You look like a ghost in the dark there.
Right. So we'll get Heather in action.
That's what happens with my trick lighting.
Next week, Monday, Borgata Brett.
Okay. I was close. I was 3 for 4.
You are. Bigger than Borgata Brett next week is our very special guest.
I will be
next week, who I think is the world-renowned authority on rookies. He is, I believe, at the Senior Bowl this week doing his scouting. He is coming live on our show on Monday, Mr. John Loud. We will be live at 8 o'clock on Monday, February 7th with this guy. We are breaking down the receivers, the running backs, the quarterbacks, the tight ends. We are going to go through this thing. And Rick, to me, this is a tough draft. Okay, there's not a lot of big names, right? There's no Najee Harris coming out, right? Big names. Joe Burrow coming out. There's no consensus easy pick, super flex. Is it going to be the Iowa State running back or is it going to be the gamble on the quarterback, depending on landing? It's tough this year, bro. So this guy is going to break this down for us and give us the early introduction look to the rookies, which we all need more knowledge on.
Absolutely. It was one of my favorite shows.
He's so good. He's so fun. Yeah.
He is. So that is Monday night, February 7th, 8 o'clock. Hopefully Heather doesn't have a delay. Heather, where can people find us?
All right, guys. We are at the Dynasty Depot on Twitter and, of course, dynastydepot.com where you bid, buy, sell. And we got to bring my man back in here.
Yo, man,
where Brett, sorry, we didn't give you a formal goodbye.
You just cut me
out. Where can people find you on Twitter, Brett?
At Borgata Brett, I'm desperate for some followers right now. I'm just saying.
Well, you keep giving out winners, you probably will. Actually,
I had a very good Super Bowl last year. That's all I'm going to say.
You did, and you've been good for the last couple of weeks. You've been pretty hot, and some good ones there. You have.
But if it wasn't for bad coaching, I would be live right now on my 49ers ticket to win the Super Bowl.
Correct. I know you did own a 49ers future ticket there. So next week, Monday, February 7th, 8 p.m., live with John Lobb, live with Borgata Brett, live with Ricky T, maybe, definitely Fantasy Heather. Dynasty Depot live. Thank you. Out. Out, Heather.
You've been listening to the Dynasty Depot podcast, the best source for what's hot in Dynasty Fantasy Football team action. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at the Dynasty Depot. And listeners get a 30-day free rookie membership. Go to dynastydepot.com and use promo code podcast. Dynasty Depot. Bid, buy, sell, dominate.